Good day, students. Welcome back to our ICT class. And for today's lesson, we were going to learn our last lesson for this fourth quarter, and that is about the JQuery. Now, before we begin, do you have any idea about what is JQuery? Okay, if you have an idea, please put your answer in the comment section below. Okay, so what is JQuery? We say jQuery. It is a JavaScript library that simplifies JavaScript programming. A JavaScript library is a collection of a pre-written JavaScript code which helps developer build their JavaScript-based applications. Other examples of JavaScript library are Prototype, Script.Aquilo.us, Extension Core, JSPHP, MooTools, and many more. However, the most popular among them is the JQuery. JQuery is not only the most popular JavaScript library, but most used by companies like Google, Microsoft, IBM, and Netflix. That's because this library has more benefits than other JavaScript libraries out there. For one, when we use jQuery, 10 lines of codes in JavaScript can be reduced into lesser number of lines. This library wraps up commonly used codes, usually made up of multiple lines, into a method that web developers can call with a single line of code. This means that lesser lines, smaller the file size, and faster loading time. So this is one of the importance of the jQuery. It means to say, we don't need, as a coder, we don't need to write a lot of codes. We don't need to remember a lot of codes. Thanks for the jQuery. Since it is a library of codes, it makes our life as a coder easier. And at the same time, it makes our website loads faster. So that is one of the great impact of the jQuery. As of May 2019, jQuery is used by 73% of the 10 million most popular websites. So imagine that one. 73% of the 10 million most popular websites use the jQuery. So here are some features of the jQuery library. One of those is the HTML, DOM manipulation, the CSS manipulation, the HTML events method, the effects and animation, the Ajax, and utilities. jQuery is very easy to use and understand. When you visit the site of the jQuery, also known as the JQuery.com, it has comprehensive documentation and tutorials to help developers learn and practice. Now, how can we apply the jQuery? To use the jQuery in your website, there are two ways. You can either download the library from the jQuery official website, which is the jQuery.com, or use the jQuery from a content delivery network or the CDN. Later on, I'm going to show to you what is the website where we can access the jQuery, and that is the CDN.js, or the meaning of the CDN is the Content Delivery Network. So CDN is one of the most popular library wherein we can access the jQuery. If you're going to download the jQuery, there are two versions available, namely production version and the development version. For the production version, it is used for a live website because the library has already been minified and compressed. On the other hand, the development version is used for testing and development because the file is still uncompressed and the code is still readable. You can get both of these versions from jQuery.com located in their download section. Now, why is it we need to use the jQuery? There are lots of things that we can access the JavaScript. There are many libraries actually that we can access the JavaScript. But the jQuery is probably the most popular and also the most extendable. Many of the biggest companies on the web use the jQuery, such as the Google, the Microsoft, the IBM, and one of the most viewed website right now is the Netflix. So, will the jQuery works in all browsers? The answer is yes. The jQuery team knows all about the cross-browsers issue, and they have written this knowledge into the jQuery library. jQuery will run exactly the same in all major browsers, whether you're using Microsoft Edge, whether you're using the Google Chrome, whether you're using Opera Mini or Internet Explorer, all browsers, JavaScript will work. Now, here is the syntax of our jQuery. So we have here, it starts with the $sign. So the $sign is the jQuery object. After that one, we have the selector using the CSS method. So for this one, we all know that when we are using ID, then we start our code with the hashtag. If we use class, then we use the period. Okay, so that is our selector. And after the selector, we have our action. What will be our action? What will be the function? What will be the event? Or what will be its callback? So always remember that the syntax of the jQuery starts with a $sign, followed by our selector, whether it is an ID, whether it is a class or a div, and then it is followed by an action or its function. What you like for your syntax to do, that is one that you put in our action, function, or callback. So if you prefer to include a jQuery library from a CDN, you can use one of the following. You can use either the Google CDN or the Microsoft CDN. The advantage of using hosted jQuery from the Google or Microsoft is that pages load more faster. When users visit other websites, there is a strong probability that they already have downloaded the jQuery from the Google or Microsoft. As a result, the jQuery library will be loaded from cache when they visit your website. Hence, it results to a faster loading time. Another advantage is that most CDN make sure that once someone requests a file from them, it will come from the nearest server, which leads to faster loading time as well. Now, here are the things that we were going to do for today's lesson. First thing is, we were going to learn how to hide and show using the jQuery, how to use the fade toggle, how to use the slide down, slide up, and lastly, we were going to use jQuery to animate. So are you ready? Now, let's begin. This time, let's proceed to our Notepad++. Okay, so this will be the interface for our Notepad++. So we have here, we started from the doctype HTML. We have our HTML tag, the head, and this one is already our jQuery. Where do I get this one? It came from the cdn.js. So what does this cdn looks like? So all you have to do is to search from your address bar cdn.js.com, and there you can access the jQuery. All you have to do is to write here jQuery, and this one is the latest version of the jQuery. So what I did is that I'll just copy the tag, click the copy, and then I paste that one in my Notepad++. So this is already the jQuery. So once you have this one in your Notepad++, it means to say that jQuery is already activated. Okay, so The one that you can see here in my screen is already the codes that I have already pre-written in order for us to hide and show some element. Okay, so as what you can see here, I have here my head. We have here the script. We have here the jQuery, the script or the JavaScript. We have here the body, and of course, the end tag for our HTML. Based on what you can see here, our script for hide and show is already very small. Can you still remember our lesson on how we use the JavaScript, the get element by ID, to show and hide some characters or some elements? The user still remember that we use a lot of JavaScript tag. But this time, because of the jQuery, all you can see here are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 lines only. So because of the jQuery, it compressed all the tags and creates a very less tags and lesser lines for your function or for your coding. So that is one of the great things or one of the great uses of the jQuery, from longer lines of coding into a simpler, more specific, and at the same time, because of this, it makes our website more faster to load. Okay, so based on what you can see here on my coding, I have here my H1. The H1 that you can see here is Colegio San Agustin Bacolod. I have here two buttons, the hide and the show button. And after that one, all you can see here is the coding for the JavaScript. As what you can see, the syntax for our jQuery, it starts with the $sign. After our $sign, we have here this one, or shall we say the CSS. Okay, let's go back. We have here the selector. So we started from the $sign. Next one is our selector. For this one, the selector that I have is the document. And we have the most commonly used, the dot ready and the function. After that one, what I get to the document is that I get the ID for the hide. I get the ID for this button. And then the dot click is the action. And as what you can see here, we don't have any function here, or the function for this one is the hide. What are the things that we were going to hide? It's the H1. As what you can see here, the one that we were going to hide is our H1. That's why you can see here, or you can see the H1 in our selector. Okay, so it's because it's the one that we were going to hide. After that one, I also have the $sign for our show, that is the ID. Always remember that when we are targeting the ID, we start from the hashtag. Okay, so I am targeting the show, and I'm going to click this one. As what you can see, we have here dot click. It means to say it is clickable, and the function for this one, it will show the H1. Okay, so this is the Colegio San Agustin Bacolod. So we have two functions here. We have the hide. We have already here the jQuery $sign. Next one is our selector, and the action is that we were going to click that one. And once we click that, what will happen to H1? The H1 will hide. The second one, or the second button, the function of the second button is that we will going to target the show, which is the ID for the show. After that one, we will going to make the button clickable. So that's why we put the dot click. And then after that one, when we click the ID of the show, the H1 will show. Okay, So I'm going to give this code in the comment section below. So you can copy this one and put this one in your Notepad++ as well. Okay, so please follow with me so that this will serve as your activity for today. So don't forget to save your work and let us see if it works in our website. Okay, so there it is. As what you can see, we have here the Coles Agustin, which is our H1, and we have here two buttons, the hide and the show. And as what you can see, if I'm going to click the hide, this one, the ID for the hide, what will happen? The function is that the H1 will hide. And if I'm going to click the show button, okay, what will happen? The H1 will show. So let's see what if it functions in our website. Don't forget to do a refresh. Then after that one, let's check if I'm going to click the hide. The H1 Coleos Agustin will hide. Let's see. Okay, so there we go. It hides. And let's see if we're going to click the show. Okay, the Coleos Agustin Bacolod returns. Okay, so that is one of the great things, or the great function, one of the great function of the JQuery. So we have only lesser coding, which results to a faster feedback or the faster loading of our website. Okay, so that is how we hide and show some elements in our using the JQuery. Now let's proceed to our next activity. We're done with the hide and show. The next thing that we will going to do here is we will going to use the fade in and the fade out. Okay, so the fade in and fade out, let's say I'm going to fade. If I'm going to click the hide button, what will happen to H1 is that it will going to fade out. And if I'm going to click the show button, the H1 will going to fade in. Okay, so let us try. So for our hide, let's change this one into fade in. And for our show, change this one into fade out. Okay. Don't forget to save our work and let us check if it functions in our website. Let's do a refresh and let's try to click the hide. And once we click the hide, what will happen to our H1? It will going to fade out. If I'm going to click the show, the H1 or the H1 here will going to fade in. So let's try hide. The functions that we have here interchange. So let us interchange the following. I think this will be the hide is fade out, and the show will be fade in. We save our work and let's go back to our website. Let's do a refresh. Click the hide, fade out, click the show, fade in. As what you can see, if we were going to click the hide, the H1 has its dramatic effect before it disappear. So there is a slight slow-mo. Okay, if we're going to click the show, okay, there's a dramatic effect that we were going, if we're going to click the show, it will going to slowly appear our H1. We can also set the time when our H1 will appear. All we have to do here is we will going to put a time here inside our open and close parentheses. Let's say we will going to put 3 seconds. Okay, for if we're going to click the fade, the hide, it will going to fade out for 3 seconds. And if I'm going to click the show, it will going to fade in for 3 seconds. So the conversion for our for our fade, 3 seconds is equivalent to 3,000 milliseconds. So let's put 3,000 here. Let's put 3,000 here. Okay. So this is equivalent to 3 seconds delay or 3 seconds dramatic effect before it fades out or before it fades in. Save our work and let us check what happened to our website. Let's do a refresh and let's click the hide. Oh, okay, sorry, I forgot. It should not be put inside our function, but it's rather put here inside our fade out. I'm so sorry. So this we were going to put the value, okay, beside our fade in and fade out. Okay, so save our work and let us try to check in our website. Click the hide. Wait for 3 seconds and it disappears. Click the show. Wait for 3 seconds and the Colores Langustin appears. Okay, so you can put any value. You can put 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 6 seconds. Okay, it depends upon how you will put an effect according to how it fades out or how it fades in. But if you don't like to put numbers, you can also put slow. Okay, so there you go. Okay. So again, when we put slow, don't forget to put a quotation. I forgot to put a quotation. Okay, so let's try for the fade in. Quotation slow. Save and check. Let's do a refresh. Hide. Show. Okay, I don't know the time on how it fades out or fade in. I think for slow, I think it's only 1 second or 1000 milliseconds. Okay, so that is how we apply the fade in and fade out effect with the use of our JQuery. Okay, so we're done already with the hide and show. We're done with the fade in and fade out. This time, let's try the fade toggle. So like for example, you don't want to have 2 buttons here. Like for example, you're going to use only 1 button for you to hide and show our element or our H1 here. So in that case, we will going to use the fade toggle. So for the fade toggle, you will be using only 1 button to show and hide our element. So let us go back to our Notepad++. This time, I'll just going to use the hide. And for this one, I'm going to use the fade. As what you can see here, for our action, as what you can see, the second word, I put that one into a capital letter. So it's because for our jQuery, we use the camel case. When we say camel case, if we are using 2 letters, the second letter must be in big letter. Just like for example, this one, fade toggle, and the letter T should be in uppercase. Okay, so let us delete the flow effect here and let us check it in our website. Okay, let's do a refresh. Click the hide. It will hide And if we're going to click the hide again, it will show. So with the use of our fade toggle, we can use the hide and show using only one button. Okay, but of course with the use of the fade in and fade out effect as well. Okay, so hide, show with one button, that is the use of our fade toggle. Okay, so we're done now with the hide and show, fade out and fade in, fade toggle. The next thing that we were going to do here is, let's try the slide down and slide up. Okay, like for example, you want to fade or you want to remove our H1, you want to hide our H1, but the effect is that it will going to slide up and it will going to slide down if you want to show it. So how to do that one, grade 8? All we have to do is to change here, fade toggle, let's change it into slide down, and for this one, slide. Save our work and let's inspect what happened to our website. Let's do a refresh first. Click the hide. Okay, I think I was able to put or indeed change the following. Thus, this one should be slide up first, and the second one will be slide down. Okay, save, and let us see and check our website. Do a refresh, hide, slide down or slide up, show, slide down. So when we click the hide, it will slide up. When we click the show, it will slide down. Okay, so that is how we use our slide up and slide down. We can also put seconds for this one. Pili taman, we can also put seconds. Like for example, you're going to put 3000 milliseconds. When you click the hide, it will going to wait 3000 milliseconds, and then it will going to slide up. And if we're going to click the show, it will wait first for 3 seconds before it will slide down. Okay, so all we have to do is to write, to write it here. So beside our slide down and slide. Okay, we're done now with our hide and show, fade in, fade out, fade toggle, slide down and slide up. Now let's proceed now to our animation. Okay, so we were going to use a simple animation, and for this, I think I will be using another button. For this one, I'll just going to put button ID. For the ID, I'll just going to use div. And for this one, you are going to name the button animate. After this one, what will I do is that I'm going to make div here, and for the div, I'm going to style. What I am doing right now is that we were going to create a CSS, but CSS is inside our HTML. Background color. In the background color, I'm going to use green. Don't forget to hit. Let's put height. For the height, let's say 8px. And for the width, we have also 8 as well. Enclose this one with our bracket and our end for div. Okay, so we're done. Let's check what happened to our website. Okay, so there you go. So we have already the animate. We have now the hide and show, and we have already our simple box here. We're in here. We were going to put the animation. Okay, so notice that if I'm going to click the animate button, nothing happens to our color green here. It's because we don't still have our JavaScript for our animation, for our div file. So in this case, okay, so let us create one animation by putting, let's start with our $sign. Okay, next, for our $sign, we have our button. And then the dot, or forgot, should be document first. We have already document, red dog. So we have button, but click, since we were going to click this one, and then let's put a function. Okay, open and close parentheses. We have our squiggy bracket here. And of course, let's now our syntax for our animation. And yes, let's start with our $sign for our jQuery. Open and close. This time we were going to target the div. Okay, so we will going to target this one. And what will happen to our div is that it will going to animate. We're going to put an animation for this one. And what will be our animation? It will go to the left. Will be the parameter. The parameter will be 250 EX. So it will go to the left 250 EX. Enclose this one with our parentheses, with our squiggy bracket, and our parentheses. Don't forget as well to put the width. Okay. Next is, of course, we have the bracket. Okay, and the width. Okay. So let us now save our work and let us check what will happen to our website. Okay, so as what you can see here, we target the button. What will we do to our button? It is clickable, and once we click, it will target our div. And what will happen to our div here in this one? It will go to animate. It will go to the left. 200 px is the parameter. Okay, so save and let us check what happened to our website. Let's do a refresh and click the animate. Okay, so nothing happens. It's because I forgot to change the position of our background here, of our element here. It doesn't move. It's because we don't have the position. We don't change the position. Okay, I forgot to do it here. Next is position, and for the position, it's absolute. Okay, so in order for you to change the position of our element, don't forget to put absolute. Okay, absolute is different from relative. Okay, so it's because if you want to change the position of your element anywhere you want, so you're going to use the absolute compared to relative. Okay, so don't forget to put with position, absolute, relative. Animate. Okay, so there you go. As what you can see, it already moves 250 px to the left. Okay, so the next thing that we were going to do here is that let us put some characters, or let us put some text inside our element here, our color green here. So for this one, let's go back to our Notepad++. Let us put a text here. Let's say I'm going hello. And then after that one, what I want to do is that I'm going to put a variation. Okay, so I'm going to put a variation. So I'm going to put a variation for our div. Var means to say you're going to have a different, or you're going to group this one into different kind of coding compared to the other one. So var equals div $sign. We're going to target still our div. So the way I'm going to remove this one first, div equals $sign, and then okay, sorry, this should be var div equals $sign, and then here we were going to put our selector, which is our okay. Next, let's have the div animate, and then this will go to left, and for its parameter, it will going to move 100 px. Okay, and the movement will be slow. Okay, so we already used the slow a while ago for our fade in and fade out. So with the use of the slow, I think it will move for 1 second, to the left. So here, after that one, I'm going to put animation for my text. Okay, so div that animate, and this time I'm going to change the font size. So font size S should be in here, since we are using the JQuery, and JQuery uses the camel case we're in for the second word, make that one in an uppercase. Then we'll move PM, and the movement will be slow. Don't forget to close it with apprentices and our squiggy. Okay, save our work and let's go back to our website. Let's do a refresh. Okay, so there you already seen the text hello. And let's see if we were going to click the animate, what will happen. Okay, so there you go. It moves to the left 100px and it changed its font size into 3em. So I think I'll just going to expand the background. Instead of 80, I'm going to make this one as 150. 150. 150. Click save and in our website. Just refresh. There we go. And let's click the animate. Okay, so there it is. We were able to apply, animate, hide and show, fade toggle, slide up and slide down using our JQuery. So this time I want you to screen record your work and click or paste this one in our activity. And this will serve as your activity for today. I hope you learned a lot from our lesson about JQuery, and see you again in our next live class. Thank you and have a nice day, everyone.